Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation on characterizing the relationship between conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior in virtual project teams. This is particularly important in a time of pandemic when we are all scattered in virtual locations and we can only talk to our colleagues, our peers through the virtual medium such as internet, over phone, over WebEx, all those tools. Now, in order to make our business successful, we have to improve our knowledge, the business knowledge, the technical knowledge, the functional knowledge. So this presentation is focused on how we can improve the knowledge sharing behavior in a virtual team. Actually, I got this concept of knowledge sharing behavior and how to improve this from a very impressive peer reviewed journal article published in Computers in Human Behavior in 2019. It's a very recent paper. Let's go through the paper and try to explore the topic phase by phase. I want to also tell you that I presented this paper last year during my project management graduate study at the University of Kansas. Therefore, at the end of this presentation, I will be presenting uh, its relevance in the context of project management and uh, the study of the project management. Let's go through it. The organization of my presentation is as follows. First, we are going to talk about some very high level general benefits of a virtual team. We will then go through knowledge sharing behavior, the background of the paper, and then we will jump into the research process that has been presented in this paper. After that, I will briefly describe the key findings. Then I will summarize and present the reflections.
Let's discuss the benefits of the virtual teams here. First of all, a virtual team hires talent globally, which naturally leads to an increased global workday to 24 hours for that team. And then also, it reduces infrastructural costs for the company. Finally, the knowledge sharing across organizational and geographical boundaries is another benefit for a virtual team. In fact, it is a crucial requirement for virtual team success because the research finds, as the author mentions in this paper, that 50% of the global virtual teams fall short of their strategic and operational goals due to a lack of knowledge sharing across the organizational and geographic boundaries within the team. The knowledge sharing behavior controls the knowledge sharing in a virtual team. This individual attribute has three factors controlling itself. Number one, conscientiousness. This is a measure of objectivity based focus on tasks by the individuals. Second, job demands of skill variety. This is measured as the extent to which different skills are used to carry out the work. And finally, knowledge sharing self efficacy, which is self evaluation leading to determined knowledge sharing behavior. So, considering all these three objectives, the researchers asked a question, that is, in a person situation interaction perspective, how conscientiousness can lead to knowledge sharing behavior in the individual member. In this context, the person situation interaction perspective means which one, the person or the situation, drives the behavior of a person in a team environment. The research process in this paper is described in this slide. So the authors conducted a two-phase online survey within an information technology company in China, which has a virtual team of employees. distributed throughout the country. The survey was sent to the participants in two phases. In the phase one, they asked about the demographic information as well as the levels of conscientiousness, job demands of skill variety, and knowledge sharing self efficacy factors to the participant. In the phase 2, the participants were asked about their levels of knowledge sharing behavior. Overall, the response rate to these survey questions was 71%, and the authors have followed standard statistical data analysis techniques to minimize the statistical biases and other errors. Let's talk about the results now. The first set of results shows that conscientiousness is positively related to knowledge sharing behavior. This is supported by a theoretical model discussed in a prior publication, which is basically people with higher conscientiousness feel self-esteem in knowledge sharing behavior. Second observation from the data was knowledge sharing self efficacy is positively related to knowledge sharing behavior, which is obvious from a very well known fact that when people share knowledge useful to others, they gather confidence, which improves their knowledge sharing self efficacy. The second set of result is even more interesting. The authors found that knowledge sharing self efficacy positively influences the relationship between conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior. You can see that from the dotted line tilted upwards in the plot, which shows that when knowledge sharing self efficacy is high, consciousness is positively related to knowledge sharing behavior. The third set of result is even more intriguing. It shows that conscientiousness, job demands of skill variety, and knowledge sharing self efficacy jointly influence an employee's knowledge sharing behavior. A virtual team member will perform the most knowledge sharing behavior when both job demands of skill variety and knowledge sharing self efficacy both are high. This is shown in the dotted curve tilted upwards. There are other results as well, but this one I think is very implicative in the context of our discussion. So let's summarize what the authors found in this article. First of all, they presented the challenge in a virtual team, which is the knowledge sharing behavior of individual participants. They found that three factors contribute mostly to the knowledge sharing behavior. Those are conscientiousness, job demands of skill variety, and knowledge sharing self efficacy. How do they control these knowledge sharing behavior? Was the next question they asked. And as a result of their question, they conducted a simple survey based research on a virtual IT team. And they found that conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior are positively correlated. Knowledge sharing self efficacy boosts knowledge sharing behavior. Conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior are positively related if knowledge sharing self efficacy is high. Conscientiousness versus knowledge sharing behavior relationship has moderating impacts from other factors as well. So, all these findings, the authors pointed out that those findings have practical implications for the virtual team project managers. Let's summarize what we have learned from this research. First of all, three factors were identified by the authors that influence knowledge sharing behavior of individual members in a virtual team. Those are first, conscientiousness, second, job demands of skill variety, and third, knowledge sharing self efficacy. They found a positive correlation between conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior. Thirdly, knowledge sharing self efficacy is positively impacting knowledge sharing behavior. They also found that there is a moderating role of knowledge sharing self efficacy in the relationship between conscientiousness and knowledge sharing behavior. Finally, conscientiousness versus knowledge sharing behavior relationship is vulnerable to the moderating impacts of the other factors. Let's focus on the current event questions right now. So, first of all, why is this issue significant? The knowledge sharing is a key aspect for a successful virtual project. Due to a lack of knowledge sharing behavior, as the researchers show, nearly 50% of the virtual teams fall short in their strategic and operational goals. That is why this issue is very significant. Number two, why it is relevant to the project management and this course. This paper has practical implications for the project managers of a virtual team and the management students in this course on how to select the members in a virtual team and how to improve their knowledge sharing behavior while they are performing in a team. Finally, where can we find more information related to this issue? This we can find more information related to the issue in the publication that I have described here. It is quoted in this slide, and also in that publication there are numerous references. In those references, some of them I read personally, and I found that they have detailed discussion of the theoretical aspects as well as previous research observations related to those three factors for knowledge sharing behavior. So, with all these descriptions, I want to stop right now, and I want to say you thank you very much for listening to my presentation. And if you have any question, please ask me in the discussion forum. Thank you so much. Bye for now.